Looking at squared here on the daily time frame, you can see that price has been coming up here nicely, and we've had a new slight higher high, but all of these candles here are red candles, and it's just barely tipping just slightly above here. So as we look at what's going to be going on here on the squared market, what I want to draw the attention to is this nice little daily demand zone here starting at 35.81 down to 34.66. So what's going on here, I think, is we are seeing kind of a topping pattern, and I would like to see price move on to the downside here just a little bit, and give this area a nice little retest here before maybe doing one more little retest of the highs, and possibly going a little bit lower. Okay. Now, technically speaking, we're still in an uptrend here, so for it to come all the way down there, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I could definitely see a retest here, a push down, and then a retest here of the highs this coming week. I would like to see it give us a good pullback, just because it's been going up like crazy high, and no real major pullbacks here as of late. So I would like to see price just do a nice little pullback for us. But before it does a nice little pullback, I think it really needs to come down off the highs and give us one last retest of the highs before we see anything major happen here, and a failure of a new high to happen, obviously. So that's what I see happening this coming week. Looking down here at the 60-minute time zone, or time frame, I should say, you can see that we have a few different support and resistance zones going on here. And as we look at this, I think what's important to note is this is the big daily zone, this big green rectangle here. And as we look at this, where we see a little bit of support coming into place is actually down at the bottom of this zone here, starting right around the 35.02 area. Okay, so this coming week, I'd like to see price actually come all the way down there and then all the way back up to give us one last retest of the highs before something new. So that's what I see happening this week, is just this little pop down and pop right back up. Looking at PayPal here on the daily time frame, you can see this market has been rallying to the upside as well. Looks like all the payment gateway companies are doing quite well. So we can see a new high on this one. Now, again, much like Squared, I'm looking for price to come back down here to this brand new daily demand zone starting right around the 72.02 down to about 70.50. So that's what I'm looking for price to do this coming week, is give us just a nice little retracement. Now, technically speaking, there's not a whole lot of reason for this thing to come down here just as of yet, but it sure would be nice just to give us a nice little pullback into brand new fresh demand before retesting the highs. Okay, it is a little bit further to go down, but I I think it can happen here. So that would also be a really good binary. And it's hard to say what the market's going to do. There's been no real confirmation that the market's going to push to the downside here. This thing is in an uptrend, a good long stable uptrend, but this would be a nice buying area to get on board if you're not on board. However, if you are on board, then just ride this train to the upside. Looking here on the 60-minute time frame, you can kind of see some of that new demand forming here, right where, well, actually we have two 60-minute demand zones that kind of make up this big daily zone, which is represented by this green box. Again, I overlaid the daily demand zone here with the green box. So if price was to come back down here, I would be expecting price to really bounce off of the edge of the zone here from right around the 72.25 into the 71.53 area. So if it could bounce right around in here off of this zone and then continue to the upside, I think that would be great. However, because this market is in such a strong uptrend. There's really no reason for this thing to come back here other than it would be really nice to get on board at a place like this and go from there. So again, this week, this would just be a really nice pullback area. It doesn't have to pull back, but that would be super duper awesome if it could.